Hello everybody and welcome to the GMS YouTube channel. I am Paco Garcia. In this first of two videos, I'm going to give you 20 tips on how to create a fantastic adventure. This is a video both for experienced and newbie writers and designers, and we're going to cover an awful lot of stuff. So sit back and enjoy this part 1. Welcome to the GMS Academy. You game? Writing an adventure is an endeavor that most players, and definitely every single GM out there, has wanted to do, but sometimes it's not as easy as it sounds. Where do you start? Where do you start? And there's so many places. In this first of two videos, I'm going to give you 10 tips, 10 ideas of where to start to actually get that adventure out there. First, number 1. Know your players. Knowing your players, it sounds easier said than done, especially if you just want to put your adventure out there for everybody and anybody to play, if you want to make a commercial product. But there are things that you can do. Ask around. If you are thinking of an adventure for a particular game, then you probably know the audience a little bit. You know if they like horror, how much they like horror, if they like fantasy, is it high fantasy, low fantasy, what kind of science fiction is it? Is it hard science fiction, not so hard science fiction, what is it? Ask around. The best thing to do is go to any of the social media groups and tell people, I have an idea for an adventure and what do you think the tone should be? Do a little bit of market research. If you're writing the adventure for your own group, then well, you should know if you know them well enough, but you can always say, well, what kind of things have we enjoyed in the past? Give them a list. Give them a list of things you're thinking about adding and tell them to give you a score between 1 and 10, with 1 being something that they're very keen on and 1 something that they don't really, don't want to see at all, and 5 something that they find okay if they get, and some okay they don't. But the scoring from 1 to 10, that should give you an absolutely fantastic threshold of the things that people like or dislike, so you can concentrate on things that you know are going to be well accepted, or a reason to actually work on things that people won't particularly like, or maybe they think they won't like, but you can make it really cool for them. Either way, information is key. Number 2. What interests you as a GM? Yes, the adventure is about the players and how they have fun, but what about you? What are you interested in? The likelihood is that you are going to be able to write a lot more, a lot better, a lot quicker, a lot more in depth, and above all, it's going to be a lot easier if the adventure is something that you, as a GM, are also interested in. You will want to get more in-depth, more into it. If you're writing about science fiction and you are not into science fiction, then you are just not going to enjoy yourself. But if it's something that you are interested in, if you're writing about science fiction but you have a specific science fiction show or theme or topic to go around, then yes, the likelihood is that your whole process is going to be much easier. Also, if you're going to run the adventure, yeah, it's all very good and proper, and I applaud that you're thinking about your players, but you have to have fun too, right? Come on, you're the GM. Everyone must have fun around the table. So yes, think about what you enjoy, what you like, and write the adventure right around that, and the process will be way simpler and way better. Number 3, get a starting point. A starting point can be something like, once upon a time, this happened, and then this happened, but this also happened, therefore that was the consequence, and eventually this took place. At the very least, that's going to give you a good background to where to start. It will spark the story. Let's not forget that role-playing game is all about telling stories, whether it is together or whether it is to build up a story that you have created and filling up the blanks, but it is all about the story. So having one that doesn't go, there was once this, and then this, and then, 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 because boring. But if you have a conflict, if you have a consequence, that's giving you new layers that the players are going to have to work with, because it's not just about and then and then and then, it's but, however, and therefore, and if they do that so that changes things quite a lot. Number 4, simplify. I know this sounds maybe counterproductive with number 3, but get rid of redundant ideas. Get rid of redundant NPCs. It is very common that we try sometimes to fill up every gap, every single gap. We design an army and we're going to give it the generals, the lieutenants, the sergeants, the captains, the corporals, the soldiers, the minions, the cook. No, stop it. We make a castle and we're going to give it the queen and the queen and the chef and the butler and the footman and the guard. Simplify. You don't need to name every single person in the militia. You just need to know they're there. Create a template for them. Done. If you don't create absolutely everything, if you simplify and keep just the very key point, things that you cannot do without, that means that the players can fill in the gaps. And yes, that means that you will have to improvise. But you know, improvising is an absolutely fantastic exercise that's incredibly recommended. So that will do you no harm at all. Simplify. Trust me, it makes life so much quicker and easier for everybody. Challenge. That's number 5. Players are going to create their characters to be good at something. So the wizards are going to create their characters to be good at magic and a particular type of magic. And barbarians are going to be good at hitting. Challenge them. Give them enemies, puzzles, challenges that they didn't consider. How am I going to take care of it? How is a wizard going to deal with something that's immune to magic? How is a scientist investigator in the 1920s going to deal with a bunch of thugs? How is somebody in the 27,000th century going to deal with Stone Age technology that they have never thought about, or a mobile phone? Take them out of their comfort zone. I mean, don't get me wrong, don't make it so difficult that they cannot overcome anything, but give them a challenge. Make them face things that normally they wouldn't be any good at. Number 6, think about endings. Yes, endings, more than one. This is something I've covered in a previous video in the past. More than one ending is a very good idea. Don't think about the story has to end with the players dismantling the cult, because that may not happen. They may not go in that direction, and if they do and they don't reach that direction with the right resources, they may not be able to do it. So what happens? Also, if you consider other endings where different things are happening, you may be able to just get a seed for another adventure. Because if they get to dismantle the cult, but they don't actually get to do it fully, somebody might escape to bring revenge on the investigators. If they are meant to rescue the prince, but the prince is already dead when they get there, maybe the queen is not going to be all that happy about it. Always think about more than one possible ending for your game. Think about different ways that the whole thing can come to an end, whether it is exactly what you had in mind, or that you're trying to anticipate what your players are going to be like, or simply just adding another option just for fun. But at least have 3 endings ready for your players, always. Number 7. Finish your adventure. Give yourself a specific window of time. Don't just start to write it down, because then it will be like it happened to me with one of my Mythos adventures, that it literally stayed in development for 4 years because I just thought, well, I'll do it another time. I'll finish later. Oh, I'll do this other thing before. I need to read this. Give yourself some time. If you're going to play with your group, telling your group, I will have something ready in 5 weeks. That will mean that you have to finish, otherwise you're going to let people down and it's not cool, and it will force you to do it. It's always a good idea to have a deadline. That's how our managers do it at work, right? You have to finish this by this time, or no pay rise, or whatever. I don't know. But it's a good idea to have a deadline. Just tell yourself, I have a month. I want to write an adventure a month. That will also tell you how much you can write in a month and help you establish your schedule, the size of your adventures, and maybe even divide it in smaller chunks so you can create a longer campaign throughout time. But give yourself a deadline. Make a list of things that cannot happen. Sometimes we get a scene that we didn't think about, but our players, the characters, become stuck. They don't roll the way that they're meant to roll, or they cannot find something that they are meant to find. Think about what shouldn't happen in that particular scene, in every particular scene. So what cannot happen is that they leave this room without so and so and so. What cannot happen is that they don't open this door. What cannot happen is that they don't defeat this monster. Think about what should not happen in an adventure for people to be able to continue, and that will tell you exactly what you have to do in order to make sure that your players have everything they need to get over that obstacle. But furthermore, it will also give you ideas as to what to do if the players have a bad day and they cannot get over it. You know, we all know dice. Dice are horrible little creatures that sometimes leave bed with a really, really grumpy mood and don't roll at all the way we want. It's a known fact. Any scientist can tell you that dice are little annoying beasts. Number 9, Copycat. I'm sorry, simple as that. I know I shouldn't be saying this, but copy whatever story you actually happen to like. Start from there. If you've seen a movie that you have enjoyed, replicate it. And once you've done it, you will think of ways to change it in order to give a different slant, a different take on it. Also, there is one thing to happen. You know, this happened to me once. We were playing a superhero game. I'm talking many, many years ago. God, so many years ago. This is making me feel really old. So many years ago. Anyway, we were playing a superhero game called Superheroes Inc. It's a Spanish game of 25 years ago. And I've read a Spider-Man comic book, because I've read loads of Spider-Man because I like Spider-Man. Oh, don't judge me. And I decided to replicate the whole thing. You know, I wanted to play this particularly evil person and this particularly foe, and this is going to happen. And I thought, well, my friends have not read this comic book, so they will never know, so I'm going to try it. You know what? They did exactly what I didn't think about. They just took the adventure in a completely different way. They decided to resolve the problem in a completely different manner. They used their superpowers in a way that I just didn't think they would. So it's not as if they're not going to, screw around with you. So take something you like and bring it onto your table. Take a science fiction show and make it into a fantasy, and vice versa. Take the news and bring them into your fantasy world, and you will see how something insane will happen. But don't fear taking stories you like and bring them onto your table. You'll be amazed. Number 10. This might sound really obvious, but write your adventure. Write it down, even if it is an outline, even if it is just a bullet point list of the things that are meant to happen. Write it down. Divide it in acts, divide it in scenes, and then divide it in takes. Just a line, 2 lines, whatever. But write it down. We commit things both to memory and to everything when we write things down. Because sometimes we feel we're stuck. We're very stuck. My art teacher used to say, never start with a blank canvas. Always draw a line or 2 lines. Get a splash of color, anything. Just do something. Writing down anything at all, even if it is a stream of consciousness, is the same thing for writing. And sometimes you feel, I don't want to write this, it's going to be too... Just start. Just start. Believe me, this has happened to me. From a 1 bunker adventure that shouldn't have been more than 2 pages to a 12,000 words adventure, just like that. It comes very easily. So start writing. These are our first 10 tips. Another 10 are coming in the next episode. So once again, please remember to subscribe and give the bell button a click so you can get a notification when we upload this video. Thank you very much indeed. It's truly appreciated you being there, and give me your comments down there. I love to engage in conversation with you humans, so let me know what you think. But until the next time, take care. You game?